What's up guys, and welcome to Hardy's Hobbies, the channel where we discuss the latest tech news and delve into the newest tech products. Today, we're taking a look at why GPU prices didn't fall earlier and if nvidia and AMD work together to artificially inflate GPU prices just like the RAM companies did. But before we get into that, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys would like to see more videos just like this every day. Before we get into GPU price fixing, I think we should understand what happened to RAM companies first of all. So, in 2005, the United States and the European Union fined the companies Samsung, Hynix, and Infineon for the practice of price fixing between the years of 1999 and 2002. Samsung pleaded guilty and they were forced to pay a fine of $300 million to the United States. Meanwhile, Hynix was forced to pay $185 million and Infineon was forced to pay $160 million. And this is all just for the US. As for the European Union, in 2010, the European Union forced those three companies, as well as Toshiba, Hitachi, Mitsubishi, and a couple of other companies, to each pay 331 million euros for their crime. So as you guys can see, they were all massive fines, and that actually represents the second largest antitrust fine in all of United States history. So it really is a big deal. But what exactly is the practice of price fixing? So price fixing is when multiple competitors get together and they artificially increase the prices. For example, to accomplish this, one, they could simply make the stock lower, and so there's less stock and the demand would still be the same, so people would have to pay higher prices to get the product. Or they could just simply all overprice their products and the consumer would still be forced to pay higher prices. Overall, in the end, what's happening is by some means, companies get together and make consumers pay more than what's necessary for their products. And since these companies are who dominate the market, the consumers are forced to pay the extra prices, and so all the companies benefit at the consumer's expense. So you would think that they would learn after that huge ordeal, right? Well, apparently not. So right now, Samsung, Hynix, and Micron dominate the DRAM market by holding 96% of the market share. And in 2014 and 2015, DRAM sales weren't doing that well, and the price of DRAM were really too low for these companies to really make a lot of money. So guess what they did? They price fixed. So according to this lawsuit, these three companies got together and started limiting the supply of DRAM starting in the beginning of 2016 and going all the way through February 1st of 2018. And here are some numbers to put it all in perspective for you guys. So in June of 2016, G-Skill Ripjaws 5 3200 MHz 16GB RAM costed $68.99. But today, that same kit cost $169.99. On top of this, at its peak in January, it costed a whopping $202.99. So as you guys can see, therefore, their actions doubled, even tripled the price of DRAM. The boom of smartphones, GPU mining, and the building of new hyperscale data centers only added to this issue and helped them make even more money. For them, the price to manufacture the RAM probably didn't increase at all during that period, but their profits sure did. Revenues for those companies doubled between the quarter 1 of 2016 and the third quarter of 2017. And on top of that, in 2017 alone, their sales increased by 47%. Which is the largest in the last 30 years. So as a result, these companies may be facing another set of massive fines if it is true that they have been price fixing. And there may be more regulations to prevent this from happening again. Well, that's what the RAM companies did, but would nvidia and AMD do something similar to that? Well, a couple of years ago, nvidia and ATI, who is actually now owned by AMD, had a bit of an issue. In December of 2006, a class action lawsuit was actually filed against these two companies for the crime of price fixing. The issue escalated quite rapidly, and nvidia even offered to pay $112,500 to the original plaintiffs to drop all charges and stop pursuing the case. Furthermore, they offered to pay $850,000 towards a $1.7 million fund that could be used to pay all the others who subsequently signed up when the lawsuit attained class action status. However, fortunately for ATI and nvidia, the judge reduced the scope of the case to only cover GPUs that were sold directly by both companies. And as you guys already know, nvidia doesn't sell directly to the consumer, and so they were off the hook. And ATI only had a small number of sales directly through their websites, so both companies were able to get through that ordeal without any issues. And soon after, AMD ended up buying ATI. So, why do you guys think that nvidia was willing to pay so much money to drop the case? Do you think that they have something to hide, or do you just simply think they didn't want that much bad publicity? Make sure to post down below what you guys think. So finally, what about now? Did AMD and nvidia get together and price fix? Well, in my opinion, I don't think that that's what happened. And here's why. If you look at when AMD prices shot up and when nvidia prices shot up, there's actually quite a big disparity. Nvidia prices only started shooting up when Ethereum boomed at the beginning of this year. However, AMD prices were quite inflated since the summer of last year. And if they did work together, then their prices should have been inflated at the same time, like what happened to the RAM companies. But this disparity makes me think that there was no coordination between them. And also, price fixing is not an overnight process. It takes some time. And as a result, I don't think AMD and nvidia were expecting such a big GPU boom to happen anyways. I mean, GPUs aren't meant to be used for GPU mining in the first place, so I don't think that this high demand was expected by either companies. So I don't really think that they foresaw that anything like this was gonna happen, and as a result, I don't believe that they price fixed about a year ago or something, which is when they would have had to done it if they did it at all. Finally, I simply just don't think that there was any reason for AMD or nvidia to engage in price fixing. For the RAM companies, the RAM prices were super low and RAM sales weren't doing very well. However, for these GPU companies, GPU sales were doing great and the prices were very reasonable as well. There was also a huge influx of PC gamers in the last couple of years, and that has led to much more GPU sales. So I don't think AMD or nvidia had any real reason to engage in such activities. Therefore, I don't think nvidia and AMD worked together to artificially increase prices, because there was such a disparity between when their prices increased. I don't think they could have foresaw a GPU mining boom, and finally, there simply was no reason for them to do this. Could they have worked alone and shorted their own supply of GPUs? Possibly, but that's a topic for another video. So what do you guys think? Do you doubt that nvidia and AMD price fixed, or are you sure that they did? And if you think they did, then what do you think their consequences should be? Make sure to post that down in the comments below, because I do read all my comments and I'm curious as to what you guys think. So make sure to post your thoughts. Also, if you guys like this video, then make sure to drop a like on it, and make sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys would like to see more videos just like this every day. But until next time, bye.